Coming up, does Jeremy Corbyn really watch the Queen's speech? Have Mr. Men books really been branded sexist? And has Gemma Collins really been hired by the British government to promote Brexit? Find out on this week's Fake News. Welcome to Fake News, the topical quiz show that, just like Ken Livingstone, always seems to put its foot in it. You can hear us live on Talk Radio, or you can watch us on YouTube and Facebook right now. Here are the big stories you need to know. Jeremy Corbyn has admitted to not watching last year's Queen's speech. Unfortunately, it clashed with a 3-hour documentary about Chairman Mao. Boris Johnson appeared on This Morning this week and said he'd happily eat kangaroo testicles. He said he's now afraid of nothing, except obviously Andrew Neil. Let's meet this week's guests. First up, joining Andre Walker on Team Christmas Turkeys, we have Sun Showbiz Supremo Hannah Hope. And joining Dave Chawner on Team Chlorinated Chicken, we have top comedian Steve N. Allen from the very funny BBC Two MASH Report. Let's kick off with round one. I love this round. It's called Fake News. I'll read big stories from the papers and my panel must guess if they're true or false. Andre and Hannah, Mr. Men books have been branded sexist based upon the fact that the male characters have been accused of mansplaining. True or false?
Let me tell you what mansplaining is. The ability to talk about an issue without unnecessary emotion or a belief in horoscopes, which that is a welcome thing.
Oh my God,
that's what we need.
So sexist.
I bet you believe in horoscopes though, don't you?
I mean, I think that there's some truth in it.
Steve N. Allen is in the house, and I'd like to ask you, Steve, let's flip it. Is there such a thing as womansplaining, and have you ever experienced a lady explaining stuff to you that you knew perfectly well?
No. Because I daren't say the other.
Thanks for watching Fake News.
I think we should be careful about having the prefix of man meaning it's a bad thing.
Yes.
Mansplaining, manspreading, manslaughter, all of these shouldn't necessarily be bad just because of the gender. Although, Mr. Men books, it is time to ban them. Here's where I get my left wing on. Mr.
on.
Tickle, that is a Me Too waiting to happen.
Yes, yeah, I've always said this.
He tries that anyway. He's orange and he touches people without their opinion.
Yeah.
We all know which president he's like.
I spotted an interview with somebody who'd worked with Rod Hull and Emu. And obviously Rod Hull, great bloke, never any allegations of impropriety. But what they did say to him, there were concerns in the 1980s, because they said, look, when you are grabbing people's genitals, that is your hand. It is not actually Emu. And therefore, there were concerns about all the stuff he was up to. He's going, no, it's Emu attacking them. That's your hand, Rod. That is your hand.
If the estate of Rod Hull are watching, we apologise for everything. Okay, folks, well, what do we think? True or false?
Well, I would have gone with true.
Definitely true on that one. 100%.
It is true. Well done. Excellent work. The points are yours. Dave and Steve, a shopping centre in Cumbria, is going to have a Mother Christmas and a non-binary Christmas to work alongside Father Christmas in a much-needed bid for equality. True or false?
I think maybe not, because Mother Christmas sounds like when ITV try and bleep out a swear word in Die Hard.
Yes.
It's got that
It is.
yippee-ki-yay, Mother Christmas. And they always picked a different voice. So it was Bruce Willis all the way until that one word, Christmas.
They brought in some voiceover character.
Yeah.
The honey monster.
Do you know, I was in Russia and I was watching
That's enough for me.
an American film dubbed over, and at some point I think Arnold Schwarzenegger comes into the room and goes, Jenny! And the translator just went, Jenny. It was like the most dour man you've ever heard.
Well, Hannah, I got to be honest, I really like the idea of Mother Christmas and non-binary Christmas because, I mean, Father Christmas is just a brand. Why can't he be a franchise that is not about gender?
The only thing about this story that makes me think it's false.
Don't answer. It's their question.
I've got to raise it. It's in Cumbria.
Yeah,
Is Cumbria the most woke place in the UK?
Oh, it's so... Have you not been to
no.
Cockermouth?
No, hang on.
That's why it's Cumbria. Amazing.
Hang on. That does raise the question, because unfortunately, Dolan, when he writes these questions, he's not a great innovator. Basically, if he says the question Is it true that snowflakes? Then that's false because he's made it up. He doesn't have the intelligence to come up with a lie about Cumbria.
I can't. I'm very uncreative. I mean, the bottom
By the
line
way,
is...
if you were talking about what's being unfair to women at Christmas, is when you get the fairy and then shove her on the top of the tree. I mean, that can't be much fun to sit there for 3
I've
weeks.
always said this about these like gender stereotypes. People will say, "Oh, the doctor came," and "Oh, what did he say?" Like, or it could be a she. But like when you say like the thief, and you go, "What did he do?" No one ever goes, "Or a she." You know what I mean? It's only the positive gender.
It's a very, very good point. I mean, I also think with sort of Father Christmas, Mother Christmas, you don't really care what is behind that beard, because normally Father Christmas is just an out of work actor that hasn't had a gig since the bill was cancelled.
I was actually once a Father Christmas in Croydon.
Did you have to dye your beard or did you get a fake one?
I got a fake one.
Oh, God.
And I'll never forget, a kid came into the grotto and he said, "Oh no!" No, they were so disappointed.
It is.
Just looked at him like, "Oh, Mark, how much was this? £7? Look at that."
Oh, and you know, it's a great anecdote. And I'm going to say, this is a new invention on fake news, which is Mark Dolan says, right? You get that, the Sun newspaper has the Sun
indeed.
says, Mark Dolan says, you can have a male, a female, or a non-binary Father Christmas, but here's the deal breaker for me: they must be fat. Because Father Christmas has got a lovely, friendly belly, Stephen Allen, and he's got the fake beard and the ho-ho-ho.
Oh,
Would you agree?
Are we not then promoting
Wasn't
obesity?
Is it not
Fat shaming, and also ho-ho-ho is offensive to women.
Is it not fat celebratory that Father Christmas cannot be an emaciated sort of Dave Chawner type?
As a
No,
fact,
we love you, Dave, but you're too thin for the gig.
Thank you. It's nice.
But they do have padding technology these days. I
Yeah,
think
wear a fat suit.
Russ Abbott probably didn't gain weight just for those sketches.
What?
So you can do those. You can get those sumo suits, can't you? As well, they're absolutely superb. You know, where you bash into each other. I love those.
Wonderful stuff. Okay, well, true or false? Father, mother, and non-binary Christmas.
I'm going to defer to the greater intellect.
Really? Where are we going to find that? Straight.
Andre.
No, I'll take it back. False. So false that it's a big bag of false.
Well done. Excellent answer. The points are yours, Stephen Allen and Dave Chawner. Andre and Hannah, on Monday, former mayor of London, Ken Livingstone, got his foot stuck in the door of a London tube. True or false?
He got his foot stuck in his mouth by talking about Hitler. We know that. Ow, Hitler, Hitler. Do you know, he once appeared on Julia Hartley-Brewer on The Breakfast Show. And she said to him...
6:30 till 10, weekdays, Talk Radio.
She said to him, "Ken, can you go a whole interview without mentioning Hitler?" And he goes, "Yes, I can, when Mr. H was dictator of Germany."
Well, Ken Livingstone, of course, not here to defend himself, a much respected public figure, especially as mayor of London. But here's the thing. It seemed like reputational damage because he's got his foot stuck in the door and then the guard has said, "Can you please, get yourself out of that door? You're better than this." Did you see the footage?
Yeah, Mark, I'm not being funny. This is nominally a game show, and you've just told us the answer. However,
It's a really good point. It's because it's Christmas.
We knew the answer anyway, didn't we? Because it did go viral, that footage. It's definitely true.
Well done. Excellent. The points are yours, Hannah and Andre. Dave and Steve, I've got a really juicy one here for you. Gemma Collins, TV star, reality legend, has been hired by the government to help Boris Johnson promote Brexit. True or false? Gemma Collins, get Brexit done.
It could work. I mean, if I were born on the continent, came here and saw Gemma Collins, I'd move back. And I think that could help. That could help their cause.
Excellent.
The
What do we
only
think,
way is
then?
Brexit. I love that. It's great.
Line of the day. All right, then, true or false?
I mean, no. I don't know. I think we are going down the way. These vacuous husks of humanity are now
Boris
becoming...
Johnson?
Yeah.
That's very harsh. We've got to say the same thing about Jeremy Corbyn.
Oh, it's going to be a long episode now.
Joe Swinson, the Plaid Cymru guy, Nicola Sturgeon.
What is more ridiculous? Gemma Collins promoting Brexit or Donald Trump being American president? Anything can happen in this world of politics.
All right,
Got
then.
huge social media following as well, and lots of young people actually respect what she says.
So, where do they get these people from?
Yeah.
Rylan?
It is Essex. The name is in
But they're not.
the name of the TV show.
That's careful, that's mansplaining to another man.
Is that okay?
Oh my God, he called me a man.
Have I
That's
non-binary
amazing.
explained?
I think we're going to go false. Do you think true?
No, I'll go with false. Yeah, because that's a
boys.
bit too much like work.
Well, I must say, you have a perfect record until now. You are wrong. It's true. Yes,
Well
indeed.
done, the Collins.
They have blotted their copybook, but you're still in it to win it. Andre and Hannah, Jeremy Corbyn has told Julie Etchingham off of ITV he usually watches the Queen's speech on Christmas morning, even though it's in the afternoon. True or false?
3 o'clock for me is breakfast time on Christmas Day.
Yes.
That's what I was going to say. You
we've
just
seen-
could have partied hard on Christmas Eve, couldn't you?
That's absolutely right. I'll tell you what.
Jeremy Corbyn partying hard.
I'll tell you
Maybe
what.
it's
Too many pots.
the one time of year that he lets his hair down.
But we've definitely seen this video, so it's definitely definitely true.
Well done. It is true. The points are yours. Dave and Steve, Donald Trump decided not to take part in a NATO press conference this week after being mocked by the other leaders. True or false?
I mean, if he didn't do things because he was being mocked, he'd never leave the house. He's a
really
relatively
good point.
easy to mock man. We've already worked out he is like Mr. Tickle.
The thing that I like how you say tickle. Go on, say it again.
Mr. Tickle.
No, it's okay.
What was the name of the guy from Dad's Army who used to do the voice?
Oh, Clive Dunn.
No, it was played Captain
John Le
Mannering.
Mesurier.
No, played Captain Mannering. Who's the?
Arthur Lowe.
Well, this is a fun new round that we've done today. Yeah, it is.
He was the voice of the Mr. Man when I was. One morning, Mr. Tickle woke up. Stupid boy. Had that kind of vibe to it. So he slurred his way through all of
Remember
it.
the Thomas the Tank Engine with Ringo? Thomas. He sounded like he'd been on the brandy.
And it was funny because what happened with Thomas Tank Engine is that Ringo Starr, the actual Beatle, was the voice of
was.
it. And then he stopped doing it. And so they had to find someone to replace him that also sounded like a rubbish drummer. It's really difficult. Yeah.
With this
Dave.
NATO thing, like NATO has an expense budget of £1 trillion every single year. They hold their 70th anniversary. Where do they go? Watford. Now I think there's some money going a bit of a miss.
Watford
Yeah.
is in the jewel of Hertfordshire's crown.
Yeah.
It boasts a Premier League football club and a world-class John Lewis. I won't have
Really?
a word
Bushy
said
though,
against
is it? Come on.
it. But it's not Bushy.
Yeah.
It will always be in the shadow of Bushy.
Yeah, aren't we all?
So, what do we think, though? True or false?
He got mocked. He took the hump.
It is true. Yes, indeed. Congratulations. You guys are quids in. Andre and Hannah, how about this one? A left-leaning comedian was booed off stage this week for doing Brexit jokes at an unpaid charity gig. Surely that can't have happened. True or false?
Oh, come on. The slight problem with this question is there's nothing we can say with him sat there, is there? Is it true that Steve Allen's colleague was booed off stage and effectively the difficult
Well,
position...
could you name the comic for those,
Nish
if
Kumar.
this is what you think is true?
Nish Kumar, and the problem is with all of this that if Nish Kumar's reputation is destroyed and he's fired by the match report, you would be the key beneficiary of that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I do.
I think if he goes, he takes us all with him. So I'm defending.
I think you're Mike Pence to his Donald Trump.
Oh dear! I've never been so offended in my life, sir.
So what do we think? Is that true? Can we believe that it was Nish Kumar?
Well,
who's a very funny comedian. He can't possibly have got booed off stage.
Well, not only did he get booed off stage, but actually a number of comedians had been complaining about the risk of doing Brexit jokes in front of a certain demographic of people, which I like to call the majority.
All right, well, true or false? What do we reckon?
True.
It is true, but Nish Kumar remains the host of a very funny show called The MASH Report on BBC Two.
Nice.
We love that programme. Dave and Steve, Emma Thompson announced this week that we might have to start eating our pets at an Extinction Rebellion protest outside the BBC. True or false? Are we going to start eating our pets?
Could you eat your pet?
No, we've got a King Charles Cavalier at home called Bertie, and I would never dream about eating him. That's terrible.
But just picture him in a baguette.
No. But I can imagine Emma Thompson saying something ridiculous and right on like that. You know?
Yeah.
I watched a documentary about the Yulin Dog Meat Festival.
Oh, no, it's
and
awful,
what they were
cry.
saying was, because obviously the Chinese are not as interested in animal rights as perhaps we are in Britain. And I watched this family and they were going, they had the dog, I mean, it wasn't called Rover, but you know, they went, well, if we run out of meat during the festival, then he's got to go. But we're hoping that doesn't happen.
Hannah, are you a bit fed up with celebrities banging on about the environment or about politics whilst they go around in private jets and live a millionaire lifestyle?
Yeah, exactly. They can't have their cake and eat it. And I think this is the exact sort of thing that Emma Thompson would play.
Hang on. You work in showbiz for the Sun. In what way are you sick of that? That is your bread and butter. That's what's paying your mortgage, right? If there was no ability to call Emma Thompson a hypocrite, you'd have nothing to do all day.
It's true. If you didn't have your Emma Thompsons, it would be like being a weatherman in California, right? Sunny every day. So what do we think? True or false?
Well, I think she's not saying first day after Brexit, eat it, tasty. She's saying things might get so bad that there's nothing else in the house. And this is why I don't agree with having dangerous and aggressive dogs. You don't want to be its Brexit stockpile. You want it to be yours.
Oh yes.
Post Brexit, if that dog's thinking like, oh, he's quite meaty, then it's not going to go well. So I reckon she did. I reckon she worried us.
Okay, well, I can say you are right. It is
Well
100% true. Yes, indeed. Andre and Hannah, a new mail-order wine company based in London, has invented a flat wine bottle that can be posted through your letterbox and possibly, Andre, discreetly stored in your office work bag.
But hang on, what,
True or false?
is there wine inside the flat wine bottle?
100%.
Oh.
Do you know? I invested.
Depends if it's Andre's or not.
I invested in a company. I actually know the answer to this because I can guess it.
It's your company?
No, I invested in a company called Friction Free Shaving, which sells lady shavers to ladies and some gents, actually, it has to be said. And what they would say, apparently the big thing nowadays is that you want to be able to post people regularly these subscription boxes. And that is why you would invent a wine bottle that can be posted through the door so you can have a subscription box service for wine.
Well, I mean, it does make sense. You don't want your wine ending up with your neighbour. They might, get thirsty and drink it.
Although you'll have a lot of inebriated posties. Right? It was only half bottle this week, you know what I mean?
But an entire bottle, yeah. I hope it's true. I want to get one.
I know. Well, I think I can tell you that if you're saying it's true,
We are.
you have the right answer.
Yay.
Well done. Excellent work. Time's up. The scores are as follows. Andre and Hannah have 77 points, while Dave and Steve have none.
Yay!
Oh no, wait, sorry.
guys.
We've just checked VAR and they have 1,000 points. So we've been overruled. Time for a quick break. We'll see you in 3. Welcome back to Fake News, the topical quiz show that may contain nuts. I continue to be Mark Dolan. We're still joined by Andre Walker, Hannah Hope, Dave Chawner and Steve N. Allen. We're live on Talk Radio. Lovely to have your company. You can also watch us on Facebook and YouTube right now. Our next round is Headline Deadline, a fabulous round. Big stories from the news. All our panellists have to do is guess the missing word. Very challenging. Fingers on buzzers. Let's go. Justin Timberlake apologises to his wife, Jessica Biel, after doing what with a co-star? Stephen Allen.
Series of terrible films.
Yeah.
Is the right answer.
Yeah,
Well, I
sure.
wish it was the right answer. I'm going to give you another star half point for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Rounds up.
Remember, that is a new feature on the show called the Steve N. Allen bonus point. And it was quality work, but we do need the right answer, which that was not. Hannah.
Holding hands with his co-star.
Bingo is the right answer.
well
And
done.
if anyone was built to get that right, it is you. Do you think the marriage will survive?
They weren't snogging. He didn't have a hand anywhere, totes and apropes. So I think, they'll survive.
If the idea of holding hands is now infidelity, that marriage won't last past New Year.
Really good. Old Lang Syne.
It's just that was a three-way.
Old Lang Syne is like a gold rush for the divorce lawyers, isn't it?
Also, what I'm very proud of is to have somebody from the Sun, because totes in apropes is just genius.
It really is. It's
That's
actually,
why they're selling 1 million copies a day.
in fact, I'm going to give you a special Steve N. Allen bonus point for saying totes in apropes. Hannah, excellent job. The points are yours. Extinction Rebellion activist glues themselves to what?
I actually know this one straight out of the trap because it's the best story of the week. They glued themselves to an electric bus.
Yes. It's right. And can you tell us
technically-
which electric bus?
It was a Liberal Democrat bus.
It's the
which
right
is
answer.
The least offensive of all buses, and still is just a waste of glue. I feel sorry for the horses.
Steve, well done. Absolutely the right answer. Excellent work. What is forecast for Election Day?
Famine, pestilence, and a plague of locusts.
It might be, with any luck. Not the right answer.
Light drizzle.
Oh, well, it is weather related, so I might give
really?
you.
I was-
I'm going to give you an 1/8 of a point for that.
Can it be? Can it
I
be?
like an eight.
Can it be snow? Let it snow. Let it snow. Let it snow.
Yes, indeed. Well done. It's
Yes.
the right answer.
That's going to be great.
I'm only going to have to take half a point off you for singing because that's just. We really want to keep our valuable audience. Who has announced they are leaving the One Show after 9 years? Hannah.
I think it's Matt Baker.
Matt Baker. Well, I can tell you it's the right answer. Millions of viewers around the country have responded by asking, who is Matt Baker?
I thought the correct answer was Keith, who's a runner intern whilst studying at the University of Sheffield.
I'm a Celebrity loses 4 million viewers due to a lack of what? David?
Interest.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it was been a vintage year, Hannah, or is that just me?
Usually I'm out there covering it actually in Australia, and I didn't go this year, so I think it's not got the same coverage that it normally gets.
Because you're not there.
No, I'm joking.
Wasn't it suggested that Caitlyn Jenner was meant to be the big star of the show? It was going to be really interesting. And then somebody pointed out some contractual reason why she wasn't able to say anything of interest at all about the TV show The Kardashians.
They edit everything out that could be seen as libelous or would actually drive viewers to other channels. They've also paid £500,000 on Caitlyn Jenner, who's not bringing much to the table, but it meant that they haven't been able to pay much to anyone else. They've got really low rent stars.
We have the same problem at Fake News with Dave Chawner.
Right.
I didn't get the right answer I was looking for. I can tell you I'm a Celebrity loses 4 million viewers due to a lack of shower scenes. Which is why
I think I said
Steve
that, didn't I?
and Alan, I can picture you in a onesie.
Well, but you don't have to. I've already sent you the pictures.
I've got a blanket.
We're on WhatsApp.
According to a new report, a venti Starbucks caramel hot chocolate contains how many teaspoons of sugar?
Is the clue in the question? Is that why it's flipping called 20? So I don't understand.
It could be, couldn't
Yeah.
it?
And is that why she's called Ariana Grande? Because she's like the biggest of the Starbucks orders you can get.
Is Venti the big one or the small one? I always get really confused when
Venti
they
is
ask what I
like,
want.
it's like a bucket, isn't it?
So it's the massive ones,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, do you know, my brother went to Costa with me once, and he sort of appeared to get this soup bowl of coffee. I was like, how much of this do you need?
The large one in Costa's a double hand. If
It's
you need both
ridiculous.
hands to do this, it's too much
Ridiculous.
coffee.
Do you remember that guy in the army who got brought in for a urine test for drugs, and they brought him in and they said, congratulations, sir, you've got 2 bits of good news. Number 1, you've passed the drug test. Number 2, you're pregnant. Because he borrowed his wife's urine to pass the test.
I'd just say that was another anecdote that was in no way related to. I think the thing is with
You
the
know what it
venti-
is? Andre's like a politician that he gives the answers he wants to give. He has a little meeting with himself before the show
Yeah.
for key messaging.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is get Brexit done.
Yeah.
For the many, not the few.
Yeah.
It's all
Save the
catchphrases.
NHS.
Save Greg.
Smoke the rainforest.
Yeah. I kind of think like with Starbucks and stuff, because like the venti, the grande, no one knows what they are. They should just be honest. So like the big ones are like, I'll have a heart attack of coffee, and you just kind of like, you know,
I know. It
I'll
is
have
true.
a mild palpitation.
Well, you did say 20, but I'd go a little higher than 20 if you want the right answer.
24.
24 and a half.
Lower.
23.
It's the right answer. Well done.
It's my age.
A venti Starbucks caramel hot chocolate contains 23 teaspoons of sugar. We love Starbucks, but maybe next time make it a black filter. The X Factor final has sparked hundreds of complaints thanks to what? Oh, yes, Hannah.
Oh, I was actually in the audience, so I know this, and I was sat next to my mother, and it was quite embarrassing. So the Pussycat Dolls did their big comeback performance, and Nicole Scherzinger was essentially wearing tape over her bits.
So we will absolutely give you the points there, Hannah. It was a risque performance from the Pussycat Dolls. Nigel Farage says, what would be fine in British supermarkets after Brexit? Stephen.
Fighting over food?
Inevitably. Hannah.
Shotguns?
Okay. Oh, gosh, yes, well, possibly.
Smoking.
Whilst holding a pint.
Yes.
No, not the right answer.
Double tweed.
So, finally, we're getting to the good things about Nigel Farage. No, none of those are right. Yes, David.
Champagne. Is it champagne? It's something to do with...
I think
pints
that
of champagne?
Mr. Farage likes anything that's got some booze in it, but the answer is chlorinated chicken.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
good.
indeed.
Looking forward to it.
Time's up. Here are the final scores in what has been, I would suggest, a vintage episode of Fake News. Andre and Hannah have 1,877 points, while Dave and Steve have 3 points. However, Dave and Steve have threatened legal action, which is why they've won the show. Well done, guys. Congratulations. Dave's brother-in-law is a solicitor. So, thanks for watching. We'll be back next Saturday at 10 with more Fake News. Goodbye.